Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another exciting podcast episode of by Crippleman, Life with Crippleman. I realize it has been a little while since I have posted anything, but I've just kind of taken my time. I don't know a whole lot about these podcast things and all that, but I just figure, one every couple of few weeks should be okay for the start, and then maybe who knows, maybe we'll get it up to one a week. But to pick off where we left off yesterday, or the last episode, not yesterday. Forgive me for that, and nothing's working. Fuck. Is the okay? The mic is working. Okay. Whew. Damn. For a second there, I thought I was freaking. There it is. Okay, now I can see it. All right. Anyway, to pick up where we left off on the last episode, we were roughly 6 months into a 21-year disability. So we are going to see if we can pick up where we left off. First 6 months, I had no use of nothing from the waist down. I had no nothing. I couldn't move my legs. I had to physically move them if I wanted to do something, if I wanted to move, if I wanted to get up. Um, why is that doing that? Oh, because it's looped and there's music to it. Okay. Cancel. Well, that's why it's muted. So hopefully it ain't overcovering my voice. But anyway, for 6 months I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't use the potty on my own. I couldn't do anything. I was wearing a turtle shell that went from my waist to my neck, and it was bad. It was tough. But then slowly, after the first 6 months, I slowly started to gradually gain a little bit of use and whatnot back in certain areas. Okay, I can't really get too specific, but from the waist down, I was able to slowly start to move a muscle in the top quad area of my legs. I was able to I was able to put some weight on them, but it wasn't a whole lot. And it did not last long at all. So basically, I was completely paralyzed from the waist down for the first 6 months. I had absolutely no use of nothing from the waist down. Now, the unfortunate part with my disability is the physical part of it has healed. The unfortunate thing is that with the extensive nerve damage that was done in the spine, the physical parts really didn't much matter. It was all about that them nerves. And if the nerves weren't communicating the way they were supposed to, then the communication was not getting to the brain or from the brain to that particular part of the body. It was rough going, but I learned how to get along, so to speak. And then, after a while of physical therapy every day for, God, I don't even know how long. I did physical therapy for years after my accident, after my disability. I couldn't tell you exactly how many years worth of physical therapy, because after so long it all just kind of runs together and it just doesn't really exactly add up. So I'm in physical therapy down at the physical therapy place in the big city close to where I live, and I notice that I can clench and move a quad muscle on both legs. Actually, it started on one, and it has gradually, after 21 years, it has gotten to where my quads are about the only part of my legs that work. So I am working on continuing to try and build strength, but I'm 21 years into a disability that I was told I would never walk again. I was told that no matter how much work I put into it, no matter what I did, the physical disability was not fixable because nerve damage does not repair itself. And in my instance, I have discovered that they are not completely wrong. They are actually quite right because nerve damage doesn't. But what they don't really tell you is that sometimes, just sometimes, you can actually, your body can actually find alternate paths for communication from the brain to the remainder of the body. And what I've discovered that is some parts of that it works and it does because sometimes I do. I have a uh, little bit of motion in the quads. I mean, I'm 21. Like I said, I'm 21 years in. I got a little bit of toe movement in my left foot. Little bit of toe movement, not much at all. Not enough to consider movement. And the quads, and that is the extent of the moving or the use of the legs. Now, other parts of me, given the right attention, do work on occasion, but not all the time. It really depends on my mood, the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, but the ambiance, the attitude of the situation, for that matter. But with that being said, it isn't exactly like it used to be. It takes determination, hard work, and a willingness to want to continue to do those things. Well, with me, the willingness is there, but I'm not the only one so. But anyway, um, being disabled has definitely taught me a little bit more in the way of patience. It has taught me a lot about how society is, because I can tell you for a certainty, our society is not set up to accommodate the crippled. Our society is not set up to understand that we, as disabled people, we didn't ask for this. We didn't want this. We still don't want this. I would so much rather be able to walk so that I can go and work a real job, so that I can, you know, provide for my family. But the unfortunate part about that is that half the time, no matter what I do, I feel like a failure. No, let me correct that. More than half the time, I feel like a failure. I feel like I am completely and utterly useless to anyone. I feel like no matter what I do, it's never good enough. I feel like no matter how hard I try, I will never get where I want to be. And getting to a point where you accept the fact that you are what you are and there is nothing better going to come from it is really frustrating, and it's really, really disheartening. Because when you think about it, it's not easy to live in this world, any part of this world. But yet, here I am, 21 years into a disability that makes enjoying water parks, amusement parks, roller coasters, hikes. I mean, there are so many things in this world that physically I cannot do. And quite frankly, it makes me sad to know that there are so many things that I can't do. It pains me to have to look at somebody and tell them that I can't go do something with them because I can't physically do it. And quite frankly, it's very frustrating. It truly is. And I'm, for the most part, just getting by because, quite frankly, I'm not ready to die. I am 100% sure that there's got to be more to life than what I am experiencing. But unfortunately, I'm also 100% sure that I can't afford it. Living on Social Security disability income, it, for lack of a better statement, it is exactly what it sounds like. It is barely surviving. It is not living. I can barely afford to take trips to go see my family because I'm paid so little, because they don't feel that I have earned enough to be supported, even though I am completely and utterly unable to work. Again, do I wish that I could work? Absolutely. I wish to God I could go and do the work I used to do. I wish to God I could do any of the stuff I was able to do before this disability happened. Because let me tell you, life was so much better, had way more promise, way more excitement. Because, quite frankly, this world caters to those who can move. This world caters to those who don't require special attention or need. And you know what? I get it. I do. I get it. I get it. Life is not fair. I'm okay with I accept that. I know life is not fair. I don't expect it to be fair. I don't expect any handouts because, quite frankly, who the hell am I? I mean, and let's be real about it. Who the hell am I to expect anything from anyone? I'm nobody. I'm just a fucking statistic. I'm just a number in this world that just does not matter. Not enough to make life better. No shit, because this phone doesn't fucking work. But anyway, I just feel in my heart I'm here for a reason, but I don't know what it is. I have no idea how to figure out why I would be here and what on God's green earth good could come from me and my disability. Why? Why? I mean, considering the severity of the accident, the severity of the injuries, in all actuality, I should have been dead 21 years ago. Almost 21 years ago. Let me rephrase that, folks. I am less than a month from that 21-year mark. No, 2 months. I'm sorry. I'm less than 2 months from that 21-year mark. 21 years of being stuck in a wheelchair. 21 years of being limited on things that you can do. 21 years of being unsatisfying to anyone, whether that be mentally, physically. I mean, let's just face it. I am I am where I am because more likely circumstances than anything, but I try, and I try with all of my heart to put on a happy face, to show people that no matter what your circumstances are, there is life out there. But then I freaking realize, yeah, there's life out there, but you got to be able to afford it. If you can't afford it, that life doesn't exist. And if that life doesn't exist, why am I here? What is the point? Is the point to make me suffer? Is the point to teach me that there are worse things in the world to have to deal with? Is it because I'm supposed to help teach others? I don't know. I can't figure out what on earth I am still here for. Now, most people would be disheartened or sad over that, or even maybe even a little depressed. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not exactly 100% ecstatic or happy, but I'm also not 100% depressed or sad either. I make do, I make the best out of everything that I do. Sometimes I don't feel it's good enough, but that's neither here nor there. But to be in complete honest mode with everybody here, I don't want you to think that I'm just on here to complain or whine and bitch about my circumstances. It's not even about that. Quite frankly, I have come to the conclusion that I'm meant to suffer. Why? I haven't been able to figure out. But I am meant to suffer. I am meant to struggle every day. I am meant to be a drain. Why? That's a good question. Maybe one day somebody will be able to come up with an answer for that. But until then, I just accept what it is. And quite frankly, that can have a bit of a drain on you if you really. That ain't even the right fucking cord. Where in the hell did that thing come from? Well, fuck, that ain't gonna work. That's not what I thought it was. Oh, that's for the Turtle Beach. Well, shit, that ain't gonna work. But anyway, see? Even then I find out that I've done something wrong and, it is what it is. I am perfectly fine the way I am. But anyway, quit fucking with shit. Just talk to people, Crippleman. Quit fucking with shit on your desk. It's not a problem. But anyway, well, to make a long story shorter, not short, the last 20 years, almost 21 years, it has been quite a struggle. It has taken me a long time to be accepting of the fact that I'm crippled. I'm in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. And no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, I will never be able to fix the nerve damage that has been done to my spinal cord and my back and my the rest of my body from the waist down. I will never be able to provide somebody with the kind of lifestyle that they want. Not because I don't try, but because, again, back to what I said previously, I personally feel like I am meant to suffer. I don't know exactly why. I don't know exactly how to make it feel differently. But in my opinion, in my mind, the way I feel, I am meant to suffer. I am meant to struggle through life. I am meant to not have the multiple blessings that I know other people get in this world. Yes, I admit it. I completely agree. Yes, most people work their ass off their entire life, spend God unknown amounts of time in absolutely insane amounts of debt. But to tell you the truth, debt is not only limited to those who have a job. Debt does not only apply to those who have a larger income. Debt happens to everyone because this world is designed to provide you with something you truly can't afford, but yet, even when you feel like you can, you can't. Interest rates are outrageous. Rental prices are going through the roof. Utilities are going through the roof. Food's going through the roof. Gas has been through the roof. It's 100% insane the amount of inflation that it happens. Every year there's inflation that happens, but yet there's not much of a increase to those of us who don't have the luxury of being able to just go and find a job we have training for. And yes, before any of you say, well, why don't you go to college and get an education? Well, here's the thing about that. In my youth, I was dumb. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not afraid to say it. In fact, I will say it loud and clear. I was an idiot teenager. I chose a path of hardship because I chose not to complete my high school education and continue on with some sort of college, some sort of formal training. So, unfortunately, now trying to get my ass into college requires that I have to go all the way back and complete high school. And you know what I did? I went to a night classes adult ed program for a while. Was working on getting my GED, and it ended because the relationship I was in at the time ended, and I was put in a position where I would no longer could make it to classes. So I dropped out. I quit again, yet again. That's twice for those of you who count or counting. Twice I dropped out of high school courses. Not because I couldn't do the work, not because I was dumb. Because quite honestly, I was not. I could actually do the work. The first time I quit was because I couldn't get a single bit of help from a single teacher that I had for a for in any of my classes. I could not get any assistance, any guidance from any of them. And after 3 years of going through classes where you're not getting a damn bit of assistance from your teachers on things that you don't quite understand, it tends to have a very serious and negative effect on your grades. Personally, I didn't care at the time. Of course, that leads back to the dummy thing. You know, I was dumb. I did not use my brain. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now because, well, let's just be real, folks. I was 17. I was 17 years old when I dropped out. I was 17 when I decided that I had had enough of being ignored. I had had enough of being mistreated by people who had no right to mistreat me. I was never disrespectful. I was never mean. I was never unappreciative of anything they ever did. But that didn't make a damn bit of difference. They didn't give a shit. They didn't care. All they cared was getting what they wanted. And quite frankly, okay, I get it. You know, people do that. It happens. You know, it does. It happens from time to time that, people get stuck on things. And it's hard to get past them. See, me, I'm the kind of guy, I try not to let anything bother me. I try to, in one ear, out the other. Somebody has something negative they want to say about me, say it all you want. I don't care. I will listen. I will hear you, and it'll go in one ear and out the other. Because quite frankly, I'm not a bad person. I try to be a good person to anyone and everyone around me. I try to help as much as I can. And I try to be open and honest, upfront with people. I want you to understand who you're talking to, what you're talking about, and how I see it from my perspective. And at the same time, I will sit and listen to how you see it from your perspective just as much as you will listen for mine. Now, I understand not everybody gives two shits about my opinion. Not everybody cares about what I'm going through. And you know what? I'm understanding of that. At the same time, doesn't make it any easier. Doesn't make it any easier to know that no matter what you do, or to feel, it's not even so much as know, but it's to feel, no matter what you do, it's never good enough. It's never gonna be good enough. And no matter what you try, you will never measure up to what people expect of you. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been very hard. It's been very, very, very hard to accept the fact that, or to accept the feeling that no matter what I do, it's never going to be good enough. It's hard to know or to feel unappreciated, all the while knowing you'll never be good enough, which is where the unappreciation comes from in the first place. It's not easy to know or to feel like it's you against the world instead of any other way. Because that's exactly how I feel. I feel like it's me against the world. I feel like no matter what I do, I am fighting an uphill battle. I am trying to provide myself, my family, with a good quality of life. Do I feel like I'm failing? All the time. All the time. I feel like I am just the largest failure on the planet. All the time. No matter what I do, no matter how much I clean the house, no matter how many times I do the dishes, how many meals I cook, no matter how many loads of laundry I do, no matter how many times I drive wherever, I will forever feel like I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for anyone. I'm not good enough for my old lady. I'm not good enough for my kid. I'm not good enough for my family. I am just 100% at the feeling of complete and utter failure. But I keep pushing forward. I keep trying my best to do everything I possibly can to make life easier. I'm not going to make it better, but I might be able to make it easier. And yet, that feeling of failure persists. Has anybody ever felt like no matter what they do, it's never good enough? If you've ever felt that, you know where I'm coming from right now. You know what I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying. You feel it deep within you. Now, I don't know. Maybe some of you have discovered a way of being able to get away from that feeling. That would be absolutely amazing. That would be spectacular and freaking great. But at the same time, you go, what? You almost feel like you're a drone, just limping through life, never making a positive impact on anybody, never being able to provide anybody with what you feel they deserve, never being able to give people a hope, because all hope in you is gone. I hate feeling like that. 100%. Absolutely hate to feel like all hope is gone. But I'd be lying if I told you anything other. And to tell you the truth, I don't tell many people these things because, quite frankly, I just don't think they give a shit. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think anybody really, really wants to know. And it's probably a waste of my time to sit here and continue to do what I'm trying to do, both between this podcast and between my gamer content. No matter what I do, I am a failure. That is how I feel. That is how I feel about me from the bottom of my heart. A 100% failure. First, starting with, I failed trying to get a good job that would provide me and my family with a very good lifestyle. I failed because of a choice I made. And let me tell you, folks, there is no worse feeling in the world than knowing you failed because of your choice. Knowing that no matter what you do or how you go about it to try and change it, nothing is going to change. You are going to continue to feel the same way you do for the rest of your life. Do I want to feel that way? Not at all. Not even a little bit, folks. Not even a little bit. But I cannot hide, I cannot deny what is in my heart. It would be 100% unjust for anyone to have to feel that and then fucking hide it. The way I see it is if you sit and hide everything and you keep it all bottled up, it's only going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt anybody else. And it's better, in my opinion, that if you can, you try to continue and push forward. You try to make the best of a bad situation. You try to put everything else ahead of you. And that's what I do. I try to push everything else ahead of me. Everyone and everything. Everything and everyone is more important than me. I positively 100% feel like a drain on my significant other and a hindrance to both my significant other and my daughter. I'm not even going to try and sugarcoat it. That is exactly how I feel. Do I enjoy feeling that way? No way. Not even a little bit. But I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't feel that way. I'd be lying to you if I told you that I was an extremely happy-go-lucky guy. Because let's be real, folks. It's evident in my attitude when I'm gaming, in my streams. Sometimes I am just not okay. But it's okay to not be okay. You have to find better ways to get past that, to get through it, and to try and find a different way of thinking. Because let's be real. Everything that happens in your life that has feeling towards it, it's all made that way by choices you have made or things you have done in the past that made your mind feel differently or feel that way. I try my best to be as good of a person as I can be. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what you do, I try to be the best I can be. That is ultimately my goal. That is what I want to try and do. That's what the person I want to be. I want to be good. I want to be good at everything I try. I want to be good at everything I don't try. I want to be good. I want to be a good person to other people. I want to help society, not drain it. But yet, here I sit feeling like a drain. I sit here at home most of the time because, to be honest with you, let's just be real. I don't feel like going and doing anything. If it were up to me, I would spend more of my time at home than I do anywhere else. And believe it or not, I do. I really do. I do get out occasionally, but for the most part, I spend all my time at home. And that's because that's where I feel safe. That's where I feel like I can do just about anything I try because, well, it's my home. I've lived here. I've made it my business to be able to do whatever I needed to whenever I needed to. And, well, after so long, things start to really take a toll. Things become difficult, no matter how hard you try. Things become a struggle, even when they're the simplest things on the planet to do. There are things that just, I don't even know exactly how to explain it. But being a disabled person in a society like we live in, it comes with multiple challenges, not just the physical. There are a lot of mental challenges. There are a lot of social challenges There are a lot of personal challenges that come with being in a position where you are disabled. Point I'm trying to make here, folks, is that no matter what your situation, it really all boils down to your outlook, the way you feel, the way you put the foot you put forth. You have just sat here so far for just over a half an hour listening to me talk about how worthless I feel, how much of a drain I feel inside. But yet, I don't stop. I don't quit. No matter how much I feel in here, no matter how badly I feel in here, I'm here for a reason. I have to figure out what that reason is so I can continue to put forth my best foot, so to speak. I don't know if there is anybody out there that feels the way I do. There may not be. But then again, there may be. There may be a lot of you out there who feel the exact same way I do. If you're one of them, by all means, feel free to reach out. I am an open book, and I am a good listener. I love to listen to people. I love to try and give people some sort of good feeling, something that would make them feel like their life is worth living, if you understand what I mean. You got to find it. You got to want it, and you've got to push for it. Which basically is what I'm doing. I found things that I'm passionate about. I've found things that I enjoy doing, and I am pushing as hard as I can to try and make something happen with them. Now, it's not easy. It never will be. And quite frankly, to be honest with you, anybody that tries to tell you that doing anything in this world is easy is just straight up fucking lying to you. Just living in this society is not easy. And I get it. I'm not even one that's going to sit here and try and say that, it's bullshit or it's wrong or any of that. The fact of the matter is that that's just the way it is. That no matter how hard you try, sometimes you're just never going to be good enough for everyone. And you know what? If that's the case, then that's the case, Sometimes life can get hard. It is on us to decide whether or not it's hard enough or not hard enough to make it better. I try my best at everything I do. And that in itself gives me the feeling that, I need to get through the day, to get through the week, whatever the case, the month, the year. It's been a rough month this month. But I make the best out of it. I do everything I can to try and make life better. And you know what? Sometimes I'm successful. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And most of the time, I fail. I fall flat on my face and fail miserably. Do I enjoy it? No, I don't think anybody does. But it is part of life. And part of life that requires figuring out how to get through without allowing those feelings to drag you down to the depths of hell. I'm not even going to sit here and try and lie to you. Life is difficult. Just straight up in general, life is challenging. Life is hard. If you don't push, excuse me, sorry about that. If you don't push with everything you've got, life will beat you down. Life will drag you to the depths of hell with it if you allow it. The point I want to make in this statement right here, right now is we are all ultimately in control of what happens in our life by the choices we make. The problem is you have to be accepting of the problem and the choices in order for anything to get better or for anything to change. If you're not willing to accept it for what it is and how it goes, you're going to find that no matter what you do, you're never going to be able to prove to yourself you're good enough. Regardless of what anybody tells you, regardless of what anybody says to you, regardless of what you feel others think, all that really matters in this world is your opinion. All that really matters in this world is how you feel. And that's the way I get through my days every day. I don't care what people think about me, because not because I'm rude or disrespectful, but because for my own mental health and my own well-being, I will not allow somebody else's opinion to dictate my life. It is my life. It is my choice. I will be the one dictating and choosing what needs to be dictated and chose. That's just the way I feel about it. I am more than willing to listen to people's opinion, but at the same time, I am also going to tell you straight up, I will not always agree with everybody's opinion. I will not always agree that your opinion is valid. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's opinion is valid. Everybody's mindset is different. And that's what makes this world so interesting and so diverse, is that everybody is different. If we were all the same, it would be a very, very, very boring world. Nobody would be happy. Nobody would want to be a part of it. Nobody would care about anybody else because we would all be the same. Being different is what drives our world in the right direction. Now, not everybody that's in this world is actually good for this world, and we all know that. There are some people in this world who, let's just face it, downright sick, downright fucked up. You can take a human life without a second thought. There's something wrong. You can hurt a child without a second thought. There's something wrong. You can hurt an animal without a second thought. There's something wrong. People by nature are typically not harmful unless there is something wrong. And now, when I say something wrong, I don't mean something wrong with that person particularly. I mean something wrong with either the way that person was raised, or the way that person perceives things, or maybe even some sort of a mental problem that is preventing them from seeing it the right way. Anything can happen that can cause a person to do things that are just not quite copacetic. It's easier, in all honesty. It is so much easier in this life to be wrong than it is to be right. But you have to be good in general. No matter how you feel, no matter what you feel or think in your own in your own little mindset, there is life. No matter what your circumstances, no matter what your situation, No matter how hard things are, there is life out there. You just got to want to go and get it. You've just got to want better for yourself, not just others around you. You have got to want better. The world has got to want better. And to be honest with you, I am having an extremely hard time seeing that. I really am. I'm having an extremely hard time seeing that. So, with that being said, I do believe that I might just go ahead and call this a day for this particular session of this podcast. I hope, I pray that the words that you hear on this podcast in some way, shape, or form give you some sort of peace, some sort of relief, some sort of guidance. Now, what I say isn't medical, it isn't psychology, it isn't written anywhere. It is all my own personal life experiences. It all comes from what I have experienced as a person, as a disabled person. Now, I am sure there are people out there that are thinking, what's the fucking point? Why? Who cares? Believe it or not, there are people in this world that care. Are there a lot of them? Probably not. Who knows? It's hard to tell what people are thinking or what people are feeling. Your best bet is to not even worry about others and only worry about yourself and what is immediately connected to you. Because ultimately, that is all you're responsible for. Yourself and what is immediately connected to you. And that is going to do it for me today. I really appreciate any of you who have actually tuned in and listened to any of my podcasts. This is only the second episode, but, I am going to continue to post one as often as I can. It may not be a regular schedule. It may not even be once a month. But I will continue to post as often as I can. And I will continue to get out there and try and show the world that just because of your circumstances are bleak doesn't mean life is bleak. Life is what you make it. Nobody in this world is responsible for your happiness but you. Nobody in this world is responsible for my happiness but me. I don't expect anybody to try. I don't expect anybody to care. It's the truth, and I'm not even going to try and lie to you. But I do believe that that is going to do it for me for today on this particular episode. But I will be back with another episode, and who knows? At some point, I will be back with another one. I say thank you. I love you all, and may God bless you with the most amazing things in life. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have an amazing day. I love you all.